Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This is a video of basically my opinions, Xbox versus PlayStation 4, Xbox One, I mean, and the reasons why I like one better than the other, or the reasons why one could be better than the other, but is not. Stuff like that, and at the end I'll tell you which one I'm deciding to pick up, or I'll maybe say it at the end and in the middle of the video and spoil it. Depends where my train of thought is at. But let's just jump straight into this. So right here, I'm going to start with the Xbox One. Now, a lot of you, a lot of people know now that the Xbox One has taken away their DRM policy. I mean, at least everyone has to know what DRM is. I mean, it's been all over the internet, but I can briefly explain to you what DRM is if that's what you want. DRM is, in a sense, the rights to play a game, not own a game. It's kind. If I wanted to compare it to something for you guys, I would compare it to renting a movie. You rent it, but you don't own it. You only own the right to watch it, and the person who is letting you rent that movie at any given moment can decide to take it back as they please. Basically, that's how DRM works. Basically, that's how DRM works. They've taken out the DRM rule, but at the same time, they've taken out a lot of cool features that we actually liked about the Xbox One. For example, the family plan and the sharing and lending games. That were some good features. They can still keep that in if they did it with only download exclusives only. But they decided to take that away for some reason. I'm not too sure why they decided to take it away. Maybe they were just being greedy. Maybe they were just being arrogant. Maybe they were just mad. And also, not. I just want to clarify. This is the true reason. I know this. It has to be. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's still rumors. But in my strong opinion, I believe that Microsoft lifted their DRM policy only because they wanted to. Their pre-order sales were very low, and they needed to bring those sales back up. And they saw that the main reason that was causing their pre-order sales to be very low and people favoring the PlayStation 4 more than the Xbox One was because of the reason that of the DRM. People didn't like DRM. People don't like DRM. People don't like to be restricted. They like to be free to do whatever they want to do with the games they buy with their hard-earned cash. Now, away from the negatives about Xbox One, I was thinking about it to myself, and I was thinking Xbox One can be a cheap way of having a smart TV. Now, I'm gonna explain what a smart TV is. It's basically the Kinect for Xbox One. You have apps, you have games on there, you have internet browser on a smart TV. You can easily turn your smart TV with your Xbox One. The scary part is Kinect never turns off. Well, it does turn off. Excuse me. It does turn off. Not fully, if that makes any sense. It's still technically on because it needs to listen for Xbox on. It needs to listen for that, so it still is technically on, but not in a sense. It's pretty confusing, I guess. It's off, but it's on. We'll just leave it at that. There's not much appealing. The exclusives are pretty well, I would have to say. The ones that caught my eye were Titanfall and Dead Rising 3. Those ones caught my eye. Excuse me for a second. I need to plug in my computer charger. I mean my laptop charger. Alright. So, yeah, those ones caught my eye. Dead Rising 3, I definitely like that because I've played the first two Dead Rising. What I don't like is the fact that Dead Rising has become an Xbox One exclusive. Because that is such a great game, and people who are out to buy the PlayStation 4 are not going to be able to enjoy it. Also, Titanfall looks good, but it looks kind of generic. It looks kind of like what we've seen with Killzone and Halo, and but into one. It looks with Destiny. It's Titanfall to me is a fuse of Killzone, Halo, and Destiny, all into one game. My opinion. I don't know. Also, another thing about the Xbox One is their drive to kind of like tell us what we want instead of give us what we want. They tell us that we want an all-in-one entertainment system with a 1080p camera, you know. And for one, I'm not really a big fan of the Kinect because I have Kinect here. I have a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox 360, and I don't have PlayStation Move, but I do have Kinect. But the Kinect, it kind of... I barely use it. I used it for like the first month or two, and then I stopped, and then they released another game for it that kind of drew my attention. I played it, and I stopped, and I haven't played my Kinect since. The only thing I honestly use my Kinect for is when I'm playing online games. I use it as a microphone. But hey, I mean, are you gonna really spend $150 on a microphone when you can just get an Xbox branded one, a headset, for a lot cheaper? Probably not. Now let's move on to talk about the PlayStation 4 right here. The PlayStation 4, whoops, just center that. The PlayStation 4 is quote unquote the golden, you know, the savior to people, the golden egg. You know, the developers who make games are quoting the PS4 as the perfect, like, just the perfect piece of gold that they can work games around. And for one, I agree with them. I agree with them pretty much 100% of the way. The thing is, the PlayStation 4, I like, because I'm pretty much a PC gamer. I play a lot of indie games. If you see my YouTube channel, I upload a lot of YouTube videos about indie games, you know, me doing playthroughs of indie games. And the PlayStation 4 supports indie games. On my laptop, I personally have the problem with the lag and bad frame rates and low recording. But on the PS4, if those indie games will port over, I could easily be recording my YouTube videos through the PlayStation 4's built-in recorder software. I think that will actually be good for most YouTubers like me, the PlayStation 4, with their recording, and the fact that they're bringing in indie games like Octodad, what was that? Outcast or Outlast, something like that. I think it's Outlast. They're bringing a lot of indie games which are really appealing to, I want to say, us PC gamers, but maybe that's too much of a broad statement. I'm gonna rephrase it. Really appealing to us indie gamers, I guess I can say. It is pretty appealing. The PlayStation 4 to me, it has a, to me, the exclusives really stood out to me. The game exclusives like Infamous Second Son. I can really see the next gen in that game. People are saying that the game looks a lot, you know, like they can easily put that game on the PlayStation 3, but I don't know. I see next gen in that game. I see the shadows, I see the textures, I see the resolution, I see the amount of objects falling at the same time on one screen. I see the spark effect, you know, with the powers. I see the next gen in that game. Also, you know, the PlayStation 4, the console itself is I have to say, it's more appealing to me. Like, I like the way it looks a lot better than the Xbox One. That's my opinion. And the controller, you know, people always favorited the Xbox 360's controller, but this controller is looking pretty promising. Actually, believe it or not, the reason why developers are porting a lot of free-to-play games from, like, Steam, for example, like PlanetSide 2, that's another thing. They're getting a lot of free-to-play on that. PlanetSide 2, Blacklight Retribution, Warframe, a lot. They're getting a lot. You know what game, actually, that reminds me, there's this game about dinosaurs that they were releasing, and I didn't see any of that at E3. That's something to think about. But yeah, I heard the guy who is the producer. I think he was the producer, but he was the spokesman at E3 spokesman for E3 for PlanetSide 2, and in an interview with Machinima, he mentioned that PlanetSide 2's graphics will still be cranked up to ultra. It'll be basically the experience you're gonna get out of a $1,000 gaming rig in a $399 console, which really drew me in. I said to myself, I really don't need to upgrade my laptop to get a really high gaming PC when I can just get this PlayStation, which already has a built-in recorder. And PlayStation is guaranteed, well, 90% of the time guaranteed to run the games as they were meant to be run. Like, for example, when I say that, I mean like at a solid frames per second. That doesn't mean lag. And if they're adding in the pre-recorded, like you can pre-record the gameplay and stuff, then hey, there's a guarantee that it won't lag. Because when I'm recording my games on YouTube, there's no guarantee that the recordings I do won't lag or not lag. They may be running smooth, and when I'm halfway through a recording, I can get to a specific part that decides to lag on me. That's something I experience a lot as a YouTube gamer who doesn't really have a capture card, who records using programs like Fraps. So that's not really, that's what's appealing. I mean, on the Xbox you can record as well. But the fact that they're porting in indie games and games that you would normally see on a PC over to a console is the part that's very appealing to me. It's the part that makes me, my YouTube, I can, I'll be able to upload high quality videos. It's really appealing to me. Also, another thing is that they scratched out the camera. They took away the camera out of the PlayStation 4 to become $100 cheaper and beat Microsoft. I don't find that as a big deal at all, because even if they did add the camera in, even if you go out and you buy your PlayStation 4 and you want to buy the camera along with it, the camera's only $59.99. So if you add 400 plus 15, that's only $460. At the end of the day, it's still cheaper than buying an Xbox One. Now, I mean, you guys are probably, watching this saying, oh, he's really siding with Sony a lot. The bottom of the basically the fact here is Sony has done a lot of good things, more than what Xbox has done. I'm gonna say I'm more on the Sony side of things. A lot of people are. There are still, Xbox enthusiasts. People you had Xbox, since Xbox 360 came out. You're very passionate in getting the Xbox One. That's fine. It's everyone's opinion is all equal. So now let me get into some of the voting that I've saw here. This is the GameSpot's this is an article that GameSpot took out. Not really an article, but it's a quote unquote battle of the next gen. As you can see here, Xbox One only has 14% of votes, and the PlayStation 4 has 86% of votes. So right there, that's considerable difference, And I'm just, for the sake, because there's really no pre-order numbers, it's pretty safe to assume that is, what the pre-order numbers are. You know what I'm saying? Pretty safe to assume. Sorry about that. Pretty safe to assume that is what the pre-order numbers are. In South, well, the place that's voted for Xbox the most is Saudi Arabia. Sorry for bad pronunciation. But I'm speaking without knowing for sure. It's just a wild guess. Wasn't the Xbox One region locked before? Which would have meant, I think, that people in this country right here probably wouldn't have got it, because I heard another interview about people in Peru not being able to get the Xbox One because of the fact that it's region locked. But maybe I stand corrected. I'm not sure. I'm just saying what I heard. But now let's go ahead and talk a little bit more detail about the controllers. So let me just flip through here and get a solid picture of the controller. Jeez, Sony has uploaded a lot of pictures of their console. Some look repetitive. All right, let's take this route over here to finding one. This will probably be a lot quicker. I don't think they have a picture up of their controller, unless it's right here. Let me click on Learn More. Oh, here's some pictures. I use this picture. I can't click it. Alright, well, I'll just stay on this page and I will go over to the Xbox because I know they have a picture right here. Alright, so let's talk about the Xbox One's controller first. Now, the Xbox One's controller is very appealing. I, for one, am a fan of this kind of interface. The analog stick upward, you know, this kind of diagonalness. But I looked into detail into you guys are familiar with the Wii U Pro controller. It basically has this analog stick up here, and a lot of people say it feels like the Xbox 360 controller, but the analog sticks are not cornered. They're just straight ahead. So I thought to myself, I think that the real reason, and this is just my opinion, I think that the real reason the Xbox One controller, well, the Xbox 360 and Xbox One, I'm just going to say Xbox 360, play it safe. Xbox 360 controller is more favorable over the PlayStation 3 controller is because of the spacing between, not has to do with the positioning, the spacing. This analog sticks are pretty far away from each other, and on the PlayStation 3, the analog sticks are pretty close together. But on the PlayStation 4, the analog sticks are spaced because the controller, people say, is a lot wider. So maybe that is why people say that the PlayStation 4 controller feels a lot better. It has to do with the spacing, not the positioning. But hey, that's just my opinion. Now let's go back into detail. The Xbox One controller is still going to be using AA batteries. I'm going to assume that's going to be basically the same as last generation. You know, they have the choice of rechargeable batteries and AA. The battery pack doesn't pop out of the back. It's flat now, and this is what part that really appeals to me. There's rumble capability in the triggers and the triggers. There's rumble capability, which means like if you're driving, a little tiny like rumble effect like where you get in here will be in there. But there's some downsides to it. Basically, because of that, the joysticks have to be very bulgy, very big. So, hey, I don't know. I like, in my opinion, I like something more slimmer, smaller, which is what the PlayStation 4 controller is. But hey, you know, and the D-pad definitely improved from. Look at this. This looks like a third analog stick. The way this D-pad worked, but with this D-pad, you know, there's spacing. It's actually pretty good, and you know, and they don't have a touchpad. But hey, you know, and the touch. Let me move on to the PlayStation Force controller now. Oh, here we go. Here's the pictures. I'll bring up this picture. The PlayStation 4's controller, you know, as you can see here, this light bar I think is really, 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 really cool, to be completely honest with you. I think this light bar, basically, you know the PlayStation Move, right? For some reason I feel like this controller can replace the PlayStation Move controller. Yes, it's shaped differently, but it has more buttons. And accessories, for example, a gun, picture that controller hooking to the gun, you know? You can like hold the gun and it's still the same thing, but with more buttons and more flexibility. I don't know, it's just an idea. But I think the controller can replace the Move controller. Maybe not, maybe so, but I mean it does have a touchpad, which what I seen in the PlayStation Eyes demo which was used a lot. It was used a lot. So I mean, hey, I don't know. You know, I don't know how they're gonna use it, but they'll find a way to use it, and it's gonna be pretty cool in my opinion. You see these rubbers here? They look like they're pretty firm grip, because on this it looks like your hands can like slip off, but on this it looks like you're gonna have a pretty firm grip around it. And as you can see, the spacing is a lot bigger. I do have a PlayStation controller, but I do not feel like getting up and walking all the way over there. And the D-pad, you know, Sony's never got the D-pad wrong. The D-pad of Sony has always been pretty well. The share option button, the share button, I like that a lot. I mean, so Xbox gonna have their own version of it, but I feel like it was a Sony idea. Because if you recall back at the PlayStation reveal, the guy said, "We want to make we want to make the popularity." He didn't use the word popularity, but I'm going to use it. We want to make the popularity of sharing screenshots just as popular as sharing a video of gameplay. So I feel like it was a specific Sony idea, and Xbox probably took it, you know. But hey, you know, that's just how that works out. So those are the controllers, my opinions. I think the PlayStation 4 wins my vote for the controllers. But now let's go into system specs. Let's go into system specs now. We talked about the games, we talked about the features, we talked about the controllers. Now let's talk about the specs. So I know Sony has a specs options here somewhere. View specifications. Yep, here it is. And does Xbox have specs? Let's see. Probably not, but I'm pretty keen on the specs. I know a lot about these specs. Alright. So since the PlayStation 4 specs are already, let's go into detail about them. It's going to be using a x86 architecture, which is pretty much familiar in every gaming PC. Now, I'm a nerd when it comes down to all of this stuff. X86 architecture is excellent. That's what we need in consoles, because just like quote unquote what the Sony people said, PC games can just be easily imported. It is basically as easy to make games as it was on the PlayStation 1. If you guys saw Games Lab the other day or two, they were talking about how games development on the PlayStation 4 will only take a month or two because it's so developer friendly. The developers are so familiar with these PC architectures. But with the PlayStation 3, they gave them Cell, which was, people did not know for their lives what to do with that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know. They had to unlock it, basically, quote unquote. And basically they just unlocked it at the end of the life cycle. It wasn't really the best way to go. Now they can get good performance right out from the start, and it's going to last at least, the experts are saying, 10 years of basically, the console will last a good 10 years. And it's using a AMD Jaguar 8 cores. The Xbox One is as well using 8 cores, but I've heard that the GPU is a lot powerful than the GPU on the Xbox One on the PlayStation 4. So, you're gonna see that in exclusives. I think that PlayStation 4 exclusive, just like Infamous Second Son, you're gonna see that graphics boost thanks to the DGTR 8 gigabytes RAM and the 1.84 teraflops on their graphics core engine. And that's a lot more teraflops. I don't know the exact number, but I do know that is more than what the Xbox One is having on theirs. Xbox actually tweeted out the other day that they don't like the fact that people are comparing the specs because it's meaningless, but they didn't think we're stupid. People always complain about specs and how they want better specs means better games, better game quality. Well, not quality like gameplay, but quality like textures, graphics. So basically, to wrap up my video, basically the console I'm buying is yours truly, PlayStation 4. Xbox One, it's not appealing to me. I mean, I already set down my pre-order for the PlayStation 4, and also an update on my channel. When the PlayStation 4 comes out, you're gonna see a lot. You're gonna see a review. You're gonna see You're gonna see a review, you're gonna see gameplay, you're gonna see me uploading videos, face camming myself as I upload videos, so stay tuned for those. Well, around the time the PlayStation 4 comes out, I'm gonna be doing a lot of coverage on it, so subscribe if you're excited for that. Like, comment down below what you would like me, comment down below what you would like me to do and what you would like to see about the PlayStation 4 when it comes out, because I'll do it. You know, I'll glad to do it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Thanks again for watching my video. If you liked it, make sure to hit the like button down below. If you want to see any more of my videos that I've made, you can go ahead and click one of the videos right up here on the corner of the page and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.